Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. It's Markets in the Morning. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the Blockchain Backer, bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Welcome to Markets in the Morning. Today is Thursday, April 20th, 2023. Markets in the Morning, where we take a look at the Bitcoin price chart, the altcoin market, the stock market. We'll take a peek over there at the XRP price chart, as we typically do, and Ethereum, along with metals like gold, and just take a look at what's going on with crypto news and what's going on with the news in the broader markets. So, thank you guys for tuning in on a Thursday. We're going to try to keep this one brief. I know the last one's been really long. I know I say we're going to keep it brief every time, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to keep this thing under 30 minutes today. So let's just go ahead and dive right into today's segment. Bitcoin sitting at 28,793 as we get ready for the stock market to open up in the next 5 minutes. We saw a little bit of a move down happen this morning. It looks like there was a little bit of buying that showed up in there to kind of stabilize it for a minute. Still in somewhat of a downtrend in here. Waiting for the market to really kind of tell us. I've expressed my thoughts. I thought this was a short squeeze in here. It held up way longer than I thought it would have held up in here for being a short squeeze. The original idea was to pull back down to 27. I'm going to remain humble on this one just because it's taken so long to sit back and observe, but still it's been the best guess I can give on there that this was just a short squeeze and kind of just waiting for Bitcoin to give more answers. Market turns green yesterday after a day of red yesterday. The stock market is also opening up slightly red. We're down 147 points over here on the Dow as we're in futures trading right now. So it's down about 0.43%. You can see that the S&P 500 is down more. It's down 0.71%, and the NASDAQ is down 0.9%. And we can actually see over here on the right side that metals are actually up this morning. So gold back above that $2,000 price level, still exhibiting all of those bearish divergences emerging in here on the daily indicators, at least, as it is trying to fight back against that all-time high. So nothing yet screaming on here that it's ready to go stab at it. Moving over to XRP. XRP dipped a little bit more. Actually, no, I think it held yesterday. Yeah, but it's held at these lows, right? So this is the thing we've talked about for weeks, and it's really just going to kind of continue to be the thing we talk about for weeks on end. One thing you can see, it's kind of dragged out on time, whether or not it's going to pull back down to that 44 to 46 cent level and then continue bouncing around in here. This range is starting to get a little bit more sloppy in here. Still, end result, I think we're going to see that pullback coming back in there for XRP into those mid to lower 30s again at some point before the big show can get started. As for the total market cap of the cryptocurrency market, excluding Bitcoin, excluding Ethereum, we look at everything else. Last week, we had our big breakout of the 50-week moving average in here. This week's been somewhat of a pullback, but as you can see, nothing crazy happening so far this week. There's still 3 days left in this trading week. Otherwise, just a pullback right now. Hopefully that's all that it is. Many times when you see things come up like this, then we eventually have to pull all the way back to them again later at some point to come back and hit them. If we get it over with now, the sooner the better. So hopefully that's just what's going on in here for the altcoin market. As for Ethereum still, we have that breakout that happened last week. Now the big question still remaining there on whether or not this is going to be a continuation of a breakout or this is now going to move into spring phase of Wyckoff accumulation like we see over here that's showing up over here on the XRP price chart. One thing to take notice about this on the XRP price chart is that Ethereum and XRP did this exact same thing back in 2017. It's what I wrote about in my newsletter and showed the charts on. One thing that was interesting, though, is that as XRP was pulling down like this, Ethereum 10x'd. It went up 10x, then Ethereum paused, and then XRP 50x'd, right? It goes into a 50x move after that. So while these are in the same time period, they're only spread out a month apart from each other, 2 months apart from each other. Back then at that time, there was not the exact move at the exact same time. Ethereum actually did well during this period. I'm not predicting that. I'm not saying that. But the reason why I point to that is we say, well, if we think this is what's going to happen for XRP, then just by default, you would think that that is what's going to happen over here with Ethereum, right? And structurally, it could look like that. I've pointed to the Bitcoin price chart to show that it could look like the phase of what happens before spring in a Wyckoff accumulation. But just because this seems to be the forecast for XRP. It doesn't mean that has to be the forecast for Ethereum, because in 2017, that's not what happened. When XRP did do this, Ethereum 10x'd. So just to kind of keep that in mind, why I can't lean on that fact. Logic would tell me lean on that fact. It would be like, hey, look, they're just both going to move down together because there's going to be I think there's going to be a pullback in Bitcoin. I think we're going to see Bitcoin back here in these 24s to 25s at some point. It would make sense that Ethereum pulls back at that same time, XRP pulls back at that same time. It all makes perfect sense. However, we did see in this phase from 2016 that Ethereum 10x. So just kind of throwing that out there. As for the economic calendar today, not a whole lot except for continuous jobless claims. We're starting to see a trend now start to emerge here. Here's initial claims that actually showed up. So we could see the last 4 readings, the last 4 weeks, they have been misses. Unemployment has come in slightly higher. You could look at the size of this chart, look at what we're looking at in regards to unemployment. These numbers are not huge, right? These numbers are still historically quite low. Go back to, all time. We're all still right in line with what unemployment is, but the last 4 have been slightly upticking in here. Still, we're not higher than what we were over there in July and June, July and August of 2022. More of just like cyclical behavior in here. However, they were misses of the forecast. If you look at continuing jobless claims right in here, this is where we're starting to see a little bit of an uptick in growth, and we've noticed that happening over there since June. So you could see that there is a trend happening in there from June that is just slowly ticking its way up. People continuing to file for unemployment and not finding new jobs quickly, but staying on unemployment benefits, and that the bottom appears to be in there, and that it's starting to rotate up. Again, look throughout history. The number is not too crazy, right? You can see just, I know it's hard to see. Let me see what happens if I zoom in here. Does that help at all? You can see here, we're just in line with everything of how we've kind of historically been, right? So look at all 2019, 1.6, 1.7, 1.7, 1.8. That's where we're at right now, right? 1.6, 1.8, 1.7. Nothing too crazy happening in there in regards to continuing claims. All right, moving over to the news. What's going on with the news in the market right now? You can see Ethereum's transaction fees ticking up slightly. Okay. I didn't see anything that jumped out for me in regards to the news, except for CZ Binance mentioning one thing right here. The EU Parliament approves crypto licensing and funds transfer rules. That obviously Europe is doing a good enough job laying down the rules of the road for the cryptocurrency market. Binance coming out saying, hey, look, we're happy to see that there's rules. It's going to take us maybe 12 to 18 months. To probably get into compliance, but we're super happy to see that there are rules and a structure to move forward with. And man, I'm just so jealous of that. Wish we could get that here in the United States. Maybe at some point we will. It's possible. But we'll see. So congratulations to Europe. And I saw Stuart Alderati, lead counsel of Ripple, tweeting that he was over there in London right now. So, all right, Dow futures fall. 3rd day is concern about profits, and Tesla leads the tech lower. Bloomberg, I didn't see anything that stood out here real quick. So let's go see what the market's doing now that the market is open. The Dow is down 168 points to start the morning. We can see the S&P is down 28 points, so that's 0.68%. NASDAQ down 0.7. Do we have anybody in the green to start the morning? Coinbase, biggest loser, Tesla. Negative 7.5%, but Coinbase up 1%. So again, I do own Coinbase. This is the target I'm shooting for at this point, and we'll see how that goes. All right, there you go. Gold still fighting against the heights. So like I said, I'm going to try to keep today brief. I got a rough night of sleep last night, so I'm just kind of like, I need to let my body completely reheal. So I'm trying to think, as for today, there's nothing too huge going on in news today. There's nothing too huge happening in price action. We kind of covered it yesterday with 2 hours of streaming in there. Looking at it, you can kind of see where Bitcoin's price is at right now. Essentially, it's taken back that whole short squeeze. So the whole short squeeze has been taken back. The gap closure has occurred from at least the actual short squeeze that occurred back there on April 10th. That took it all back. which was kind of the expectation. But otherwise, it's kind of a mostly green day out there, but just slightly, as we just kind of wait for this market to continue waddling sideways. And I do think that's the kind of market we have entered into. I think we have entered somewhat of a crap market right now. All right. Let's jump into the chat, and then we'll get on our way. It's just Thursday, right? Let's talk about that. Wednesday, we come off the high of Wednesday. Like even if it's a red day, Wednesdays are always like fun. Then you have Thursday and you're like, ah. And then Friday, you're like, hey, it's Friday. So thank you guys for tuning in. I'm scrolling through the chat here. And okay. And then I'll jump into the questions. I've got it. Rodrigo, it says, someone asked BCB how the new course will be. It's guys, I was hoping I'd have the thing done by Tuesday. I'm quite certain at this point it's not going to happen. It's not going to be done by Tuesday. I'm just nowhere near close. Like I've run the math. Like I've even run the math if I work all the way through the weekends, if I work late into the night, and if I record 4 videos per day, can I get it done in time? And even then, I don't think I can. So it's probably going to be delayed at least another week. I was hoping for next Tuesday. But yeah, no, it's just like pretty much all the things that I look at in an organized manner to be able to go back and reflect on. And so like the last course when I put it out, it was 4.5 hours when I put it out, with 14 videos. I think this one will have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Oh my gosh. I think 44 videos or something, unless I can find a way to compress that and make it less. But it's going to be way more than 4.5 hours of content. And so it'll, like all the stuff like TradingView walkthroughs, CoinTrader Pro walkthroughs, understanding charts, with like candlesticks and log scale and linear scales and the challenges with all of those. And then the things that, everybody wants to know about in regards to like the effective tools, at least the ones that I like to use. And even though some of them I'll show them once in a while, I don't use them too often. Like, you obviously know I use Fibonacci's all the time, but moving averages, relative strength, stochastic RSI, moving averages, trend lines, bar patterns, long and short risks, volume analysis, how to compare assets together, percentage and time measurements, and Bollinger Bands, and chart patterns. I know people like to look at patterns. The first one anybody ever learns, head and shoulders, but your bull flags, bear pennants, bull pennants, cup and handles, wedges. I figured a whole section on the blockchain backers crashing structure of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is to me the most reliable pattern I know of. And then of course Wyckoff accumulation and distribution. In Elliott waves, section, and then kind of applying these in the real world, about what had happened in cryptocurrency in 2017, what happened in 2021, lessons learned from both of those, and looking at those indicators together, dominance swings for Bitcoin and the altcoins, and then kind of looking ahead and how the markets move together and separate, and focusing on what matters to me, which is, of course, is percentages rather than the price. We get caught up in a lot of stuff, and managing emotions, of course, and then researching, how I use charts to research, and then there'll be a section for like additional resources and stuff like that. So, but man, I was hoping that would be out next week. Unfortunately not. It would be a little bit more. I mean, I could get it out next week, but I'd have to slack on the content, and I put too much work into it already to just slap together the last videos. So I'm just recognizing the pace I'm moving at. It's not going to be done by next week. So, wow, quiet day in the chat. Eric says, yeah, I think it is just a quiet day. Everybody's probably feeling kind of like me. I'm kind of like, I'm tired. I'm tired today. It's this Thursday. It's just Thursday. Yeah, it's a little bit green, but there's nothing too crazy happening in the market. Doge was the leader of the pack for the day and just fell off. I wonder what happened to Doge. That was interesting. Doge was up like 6% leading the day, and now it just flipped all the way back down. How about that? Congratulations to Europe, T says. T says, can we play the frog song today to make this day at least a little bit better? We have to go through the lows in order to appreciate the highs. That's just a part of life, right? That's the part of gratitude. So whenever you go through a really bad situation in life, and then when you're going through the good, instead of getting like complacent with the good, reflect on those bad times and say, you know what? I'm glad we're not there. So next time we get to Frog Day, it's like, I can't believe it. It's Frog Day, because we don't do it every day. So I have to lay down the law and say no frog today. Eric, I like when blockchain backer whispers numbers in my ear. Yeah, I'm really kind of monotone today, huh? Like I said, I got a rough night of sleep, and just fighting through it. But that's not none of y'all's problem. That's my problem. So we're here. We're getting it done. We're watching the markets as they open. It's not too exciting of a day. We have a mixed day over here in stocks. Bond yields are down. The stock indexes are down about 0.5% in here. Metals are up about 0.5%. DXY is down about 0.2%. And you look over at crypto, and you kind of got a mixed board. You got Bitcoin slight down, $16. I would technically just say Bitcoin is completely flat so far. But we can kind of look at the trend on it. It had some pulling down. It had a little bit of juice show up in there. You're starting to see a divergence starting to emerge in here, at least on the 2-hour time frame. Nothing too significant though. Nothing to run and cry home to mom about, like to the upside or to the downside. It's more of just kind of a chill day. And XRP is just in the sideways waddle. So, we're going through a period of waiting. Last week was exciting because we saw that the altcoin market, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, had its 50-week breakout. This week looks like we're having ourselves a little bit of a back test. So just kind of a standard old day. So things I'll be looking for tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow we can see a little bit better as we close out the week, and we can see some greener action show up here on Ethereum to say, hey, this was just a quick back test. So things I'll be cheering for is tomorrow that we can see some type of bounce, and that can get reflected over here in Ethereum. As for news, we don't have a whole lot of news. We just saw CZ Binance tweeting about his excitement for that EU Parliament has approved crypto licensing and funds transfer rules to make it a little bit more easier to navigate the regulatory front for Europe, at least. Whereas over here in the United States, there has been none. And I still continue to have more time to watch highlights from the Gary Gensler interview, and I have more and more time to reflect back on it. And I do recall just heading into that hearing thinking to myself, I know exactly what he's going to do. Yeah, they're marketing it as they're going to grill him. You know it. He's going to dodge everything. He's not going to answer everything. And then there's going to be half the room who's going to completely kiss his butt. That is exactly what happened. However, the other side was fully prepared for his antics of what he was going to do. They were fully prepared for it. He got taken to the slaughterhouse. And I think this time was different compared to last time. I think, Gary's tried to play the politician game. I think that's what he is. And underneath it all, he's a politician. And I think he got absolutely schooled by the professional politicians. They knew the game he was playing. They've played it before, and they completely demolished him. And then I had missed that one in there where he gets asked, do you own any crypto? And he says, no. Or do you own any digital assets? Do you own any crypto? And he says, no, I don't own any digital assets. He goes, okay, you've taught a course at MIT about crypto, right? He says, yes, I've taught a course about blockchain. And he says, okay, well, have you ever owned any crypto? And he says, no. He says, have you ever had a wallet? No. Like, wait, what? wait, what? So that exchange there was, you're the head of the SEC. You're regulating by enforcement the cryptocurrency industry. You've taught a university course at MIT on blockchain, and you have never used a wallet. You have never used crypto one time. There's only two conclusions I can jump to from that. One, you are lying under oath, like crime. Or two, you are massively unqualified. Massively unqualified. Not only not massively unqualified to regulate, but massively unqualified to have ever taught a course over at MIT. So why did they ever say, hey, this is the guy? Like during the interview process, they didn't ask you, hey, so how do you use a wallet? You say, well, I don't know. I've never used one before. Perfect. We'll hire you. So is that like he says he has never used one before under oath? Okay. I think you got to be lying, right? Either you're lying or you're completely unqualified. So I don't know. That one, and then all the other ones, right, where he was just made into a buffoon, a complete buffoon. Sorry, I'm now on a ramble. So okay, back into the chat. Andy Philpott, right out the gates. Thank you. Flying Sean, thank you so much. Any stables you trust? I'm nervous about selling Bitcoin, Retrace, XRP Moon, and USDT being the big rollover narrative before I can fully cash out of USD. I had put, I for the BC Backer course that's currently on there right now, which is not open for enrollment. I had put a stablecoin thing on there, and then I've talked about it on my YouTube channel. I spent a good amount of time like researching all the stablecoins. When Luna and UST collapsed, it sent me into a panic of being like, holy cow, I need to have a better understanding of these stable coins when that happened. Because I've been here long enough to never have recalled a stable coin collapsing to zero like that. And then checking out everything, whether it's pegged or it's algorithmically backed or if it's reserve backed, and whether or not there's the proof of reserves. Can you trust any of the proof of reserves? And when you go through all of them, let's just talk about the three main ones, right? That's USDT, that's BUSD, or USDT, which is Tether, or you have BUSD, which is Binance USD, or you have USDC, USD Circle. So of those three in particular, what are the pros and the cons of them? So let's talk about USDT. They claim to have the reserves. They claim to have been audited. However, there's no real proof of the audit, right? They've claimed to it many times, but there's no proof of it. And they've been around for a very long time, in the crypto market at least, right? We could see that we're pegged at $1 right now, right? So it is exactly at $1. The $1 threshold is down to right there. So that's where $1 is. So it sits on the north side of $1 right now. When we're pegged, we can be fluctuating around it. When we're pegged, we can fluctuate around it. Pegged can kind of fluctuate around it. But as we all know, we had these moments in time where we depegged, right? So that was pretty scary when those depegs end up happening, just because the first real major depeg we saw of 2022 was UST, and it went to zero. So when USDT depegged, pretty scary. And however, it's not the first time it has happened. This actually was a phenomenon that occurred in 2018 as well. So it's not that it doesn't ever happen. It does actually happen. So again, we can see over here, we're at $1, a little bit over $1 for Tether. Right, so we're on the north side of $1. The peg is there. And these are our depegs that happened in 2022. So this is when Luna and UST collapsed. And then this is during the FTX collapse right in here. And then right before we go into the new year. And then we regain it. This is the big spike when the Silicon Valley Bank collapsed, and Circle had $3 billion over there of USDC reserves over there on Silicon Valley Bank. And the worry was that those $3 billion would be gone forever. And this caused a flock to USDT out of USDC. Turns out that Circle is getting the $3 billion back. USDC is not at threat of that $3 billion. And we have now seen USDT return back to the $1 level rather than being worth, well, this looks huge, $1.01, right? And so when we have this DPEG over here, you can see there's wicks that go way down, right? But I mean, we can look at where the days like end, right? The day ends here at 99.5 cents. So $1 is instead worth 99.5 cents. You lost a half of a cent in this moment, and then you get back to 99.9. It's very, very close, but still it's not a perfect peg, right? But we go back into 2018 with Tether, and we have these DPEGs happen before. This is not the first time, and the DPEGs that happened back in 2018 were bigger, and they happened in similar phases, right? So what we're talking about here in June this year, these are two kind of capitulation events that happen in the market, right? We're capitulating there in May as UST and Luna are collapsing, and then Celsius is collapsing, and all that's happening in this moment right in here. And here we are in June, right? June, this is where a lot of stuff bottoms. This is where the total 2 altcoin market cap has already bottomed at this point. Ethereum has bottomed, XRP has bottomed, Litecoin has bottomed. A ton of assets have already bottomed here, including Binance Coin. They have now bottomed. Then we have one more capitulation event here that happens in the market where several other altcoins set new lows, and Bitcoin goes from 17K to 16K or 17K to 15.5, and then that's Bitcoin's true bottom right there. So these are like capitulation events that happen in here. If we go back to 2018, that's what was going on in here too. You see the massive DPEG that happens right here, right? Look at where this is October, November, and December of 2018. This is our capitulation of 2018. So let me as you can see, this is heading into our capitulation phase. The market bottoms in here. As the market finds its bottom at the end of the bear, here we are at the ending. That's it. Okay. So we definitely have DPEG before. We've DPEG'd bigger, and you can just kind of see from the grand scale of it. Here's your 2022 DPEG with Luna and UST. Here's your 2022 DPEG with FTX. But over here, this is all of your 2018 DPEGing. Quite the stark difference in here, where these candles are closing down here 96 cents, 95, 97. So we definitely have had this happen before. Here's this one way down here, 95, 94.9. So, okay, so what's the deal, right? So why are we worried about these three particular stablecoins in general? Is that, well, you know, Tether claims that they have the reserves. They've been around for a long time. They still seem to be functioning. There's been runs on them. If anything, they got tested on the run for sure during this phase, right? But there's like not the proof there. They haven't provided the proof on what they have as the actual reserves, and they claim that they have, but they haven't. It's just the cold hard reality of it. So the risk there of sitting in Tether is that we don't have the real proof. We just don't, that they have all the reserves. Then you have Binance USD, right? So Binance USD. Same kind of situation. They're kind of claiming that they have the audits, pointing to places that they have the audits at. However, you know, functioning by an exchange, functioning by Binance, and whether or not you can trust that. And then, you know, I personally have never used Binance USD, and I in my write-up or in my video on that one too, just kind of kept saying something doesn't seem right about it. And then now we see the regulators going after Binance USD, and Binance USD is shrinking in market cap, right? So it hasn't, I don't think it's depegged. BUSD, I haven't even checked. I could be making that up entirely. We're going to find out right now. 99.98 over here on this. Can't even do it anywhere. How about over here versus Tether? 99.97. Okay, so like this was it depegged big time when they announced that was going to happen, right? But is that really even big time? It went from $1 to 99 cents. So anyway, pretty darn close to being pegged, but not technically there, right? It's at 99.97% of a dollar. So very, very, very close. But anyway, sitting in Binance USD, even CZ Binance tells you don't do that. So the other option there, if we're just looking at the top three, is you have Tether, and then next up you have USD Circle. And so USDC does have more of the trusted audits on it, and this one from a regulatory compliance aspect seems to be the top of them all. I don't know if there's really a non-risk factor to any of them. But when it comes to being within compliance and audit and trusted audits, USDC seems to be the top of them. Also backed by Coinbase. And I know you sit there and you say, oh, $3 billion almost lost there at Silicon Valley Bank. They had $3 billion there. So, I mean, they have some money. But you don't really know what Tether has. You just don't really know what it has at all. And so it does seem out of the three of them, and it feels weird to say this, because look how big this depeg was over here that happened. It flashed to 87 cents. Of the three, this one appears to be the best of the three stablecoins, is USDC. But it does not, as we can see with these depegs, and we can see these situations that happen and the questions of audits, it does not come risk-free. So regulators are going after stablecoins. It's a big deal with stablecoins. Audits are in question on stablecoins, and they can depeg. So most of the time we can see they do recover, but as you saw with UST or Luna's UST, what is it even at right now? Oh my gosh, is it even in existence anymore? I don't even know. Gemini still has it. It's worth 3 cents. So, oh wait, they delisted it. USD. How about Kraken? You don't really still have it, do you, Kraken? You still have it? What is wrong with you? Okay, it's worth 2 cents over there on Kraken. I don't know why Kraken would still have this in April of 2023, but they do. So anyway, it appears that the golden child of the stablecoins is likely USDC. However, they're just not risk-free, and I don't keep a lot of money in stablecoins, and when I do, it's not for very long. And just so you know, USDT being the big rollover narrative before I can fully cash out to USD. I've been in crypto since the earlier half of 2017, while Bitcoin was still under $2,000 in 2017 before it ran up to 20,000. I've heard the USDT fear narrative ever since then. So we're almost 6 years into it, and it has always been Tether is going to be the thing that crashes and crumbles the market. Will it be one day? Maybe. But it has always been the thing when there's not any really good FUD going on out there, we resort back to the Tether FUD. And that's always the case. And if anybody's been in this market for 2 years, you've probably at least seen the Tether FUD narrative 4 or 5 times. I've seen it over a dozen. Right now, we're not even in one right now, but it will come back. And that is something like, you can't guarantee anything in this market. But dude, that is the one that always comes back, is the Tether FUD clown show. Every time. It's kind of like we don't have anything to do as real FUD. China, we're waiting for the next China ban, but since we don't have one, we're going to push the Tether FUD narrative now. So the end of times has always been this Tether thing that's going to happen, but it never comes, right? Kind of like the XRP switch flipping peg to gold, but it never comes, right? So we'll see. TB. Flying Sean. I went into real detail on that one with stables just because it's probably an important one. TB, thank you for all you do, BCB. Can you take a quick look at Algorand? It looks like it's currently back testing and then break out to the upside. Thank you, sir. Hard to know with Algo because with Algo, it looks weak. It looks very weak. And you probably have a lot. Algorand is another one of these coins where it's a lot of XRP community members who own it. Right, a lot. So you get HBAR, Algorand, Casper, VeChain, QNT. These are a lot of coins that are just like XRP community member centric. And this one, how many XRP community members are wanting to sit there and play with something with security, being called security by the SEC? I don't know. So I'm not in it, and I'm not going to play in that personally. Whether the technicals want to shoot to the upside, that's fine. I'm just not interested in playing in that. And it's looking weaker than the rest of the market. So I don't know. Don't know. When you have that wild card, because we saw that happen to XRP, right? When the SEC went after them, it just crashed and crumbled right afterwards. It took a minute for something clear to show up when the crashing structure was complete on XRP. We got something really clear that showed up in here. You had your 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Boom, that was a mark of the bottom. I don't see anything that is screaming crystal clear for my capabilities, at least over here on Algorand, to say something is very obvious to me that this is the bottom. I don't see that. Maybe I'm blind, but I don't see it. So that's my thoughts. But thank you, TB. Carlos Fernandez. Hey, BCB. I love the show. You are the best, number one. I know this is not financial advice, but what do you think is a good price prediction for Stellar? I don't really know on Stellar. You know, maximum for me would be a 4.236 extension based on the 2018 high. I know in 2021, it went back and hit the previous all-time high, right? Maybe not on Coinbase, but dang close. And I'd probably have to look at the market cap. Let's see if we can look at market cap. So yeah, the market cap hit a new all-time high, right? So it just be somewhere up in here for the market cap. However, you know, with Stellar Lumens, maybe it runs, maybe not. Again, Stellar Lumens is another coin owned by XRP community members. I do not believe Stellar Lumens has its own community. I do believe it's another one of those coins where you just have a couple influencers who are constantly pushing it. But I do not believe a couple of XRP influencers that push Stellar Lumens, but I do not believe Stellar Lumens has its own community. I could be mistaken. The reason I say that is I don't see anybody on Twitter talking about Stellar Lumens. And I did go through the Stellars.org Twitter page. I looked at all of their tweets that they do on Stellar.org, which can kind of give you a look at what are other people saying when they tweet. And you check out any tweets that they do. You click on the comments. And so what I would do is I'd go look through a whole week worth of tweets by Stellar.org. I'd look at their comments, and all the people who were commenting on there and support also had XRP in their name. They had XRP related tweets. They were all XRP people and it wasn't many comments on each tweet. It's like 4 comments per tweet. That's not very many comments on a tweet. That's the level of engagement it was getting for Stellar, and that those couple of comments that were happening on their tweets were all XRP people. So I do not think there's actually a Stellar Lumens community. I don't think there's anybody using it for anything. I think the reality is that we all kind of know is that these two kind of move together. When there's some big move for XRP, Stellar Lumens tends to move at the exact same time for some reason. I don't know why, but it does. And so people kind of latch the two together to say that they're related, but I just don't think so. But yeah, I'm going to be watching the whole market rather than focusing too heavy on Stellar. But again, if it got to a 4.236 extension, I'm out. I've been making that noise a lot lately. I need to chill out on that. All right. Thank you, Carlos. And that was your first time. Thank you. And Oscar, what's up, man? All right, Oscar, thank you so much for the super chat. Generosity, thank you. BCB from Omar, what's your favorite target? What's your target for IOTA? Same concept. Nothing changes, right? So the concept you have to think of is, was this a retrace for a lot of these? So the ones that hit the massive all-time highs are the only thing that they're going to do now is retrace. And then the ones that have now spent 5 years, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, do they finally go out to their 4.236 extensions? So for me, still personally, everything's based off of market cap, 4.236 extensions based on 2018 all-time high. Should that not occur, then it's going to be watching Bitcoin into retracement. If altcoin market exceeds Bitcoin, which we always see. So here's... Oh, I don't even have to do that. Here we go. Here's Bitcoin. Here it is working its way up. There we go. Then it gets right here. And if we see that this pulls back and then it pulls up here, but we see the altcoin market continue higher at this point above here, and there's this divergence where Bitcoin has gone down here, but the altcoin market has gone one beyond. That's the exit. That's the exit door right there. That is goodbye. Out. Run for the hills. So the situations for me are, one, if targets get hit. If targets do not get hit, it is dictated for me to run for the hills based on what Bitcoin is doing into this retracement. And if we use 2021 as any type of guide, it told us not everything is going to. So that's going to have to be a consideration moving into any type of moment like that, is that there are likely going to be ones that do not. So if all you're doing is focusing on, your particular coin and how high it's going to go, and you're not focusing on Bitcoin, and you have this belief, like, I can already see it, man. If people are not paying attention to these things when it comes to Bitcoin and retracements and and the altcoin market divergence from them, and they're not paying attention to this whole thing is going to happen to them a second time. And mark my words, it will happen to a lot of people a second time. There's too many people who just went a massive bear there, and they're now going to say, I don't believe we're going to stop here. I already see it. To even take the risk and even consider that we can't stop here is crazy to me. Crazy. We absolutely could. It could be the death and doom of Bitcoin. All right, moving on. We're not going down that path today, right? Everybody wants to hear, we're going to moon bound. Not really. How about this one, though? I think this one can do it. I think XRP can do it. And maybe even Ethereum. But I don't think Bitcoin can. And that is why Bitcoin maxis hate me. They don't even care. They don't even care if they think that their target's 100K. It's like, congrats, dude. You're gonna make YouTube videos for years. You're gonna talk trash for years. You're going for that. Wow. Amazing. Amazing. For 200%. That's why you don't see many Bitcoin price predictions out there right now. Anybody notice that? You don't see many Bitcoin price predictions. Because everybody knows it's over. The big, massive gains of Bitcoin are done. This was probably the last big one. Otherwise, what are you chasing? 200%? You're willing to play in a game where you can lose 90%, but you're only chasing 200%? That's crazy. That's insane. Why would you play in a risk to reward ratio where you can only triple what you have put in, but you can lose 90% of what you put in? For me, if I'm at a position where I could lose 90%, I want to be in a position where if it goes to the upside, if it goes up 50 times. You know what I mean? Not 3. Or even 20 times. It's fine. I'll live with 20 times. Oh, nice. Oscar's on the treadmill today. So that is before I ever started my YouTube channel, and I would watch XRP videos. That was what my morning was every single morning. I was hopping on the treadmill. I had a TV, smart TV in that room. I'd put it on, and I'd go through my videos and watch my videos and be on my treadmill in the morning to close my rings and get my exercise goal of the day every morning. So look at that. I'm on the other side now. Whiskey Tube reminding, like the video, frogs, keep the needle moving, and then heads up. Thank you, Whiskey, for your support, and also not Oscar Hernandez, who shows up today. Thank you very much. Finger Money. Hey, BCB, follow-up question from yesterday. How's the inflation of XRP affect your exit price targets? Also, most importantly, bacon, crispy or limp? Well, bacon crispy, but I'm pretty sure we went into extreme detail on that with the XRP stuff. I've gone into that a lot. The inflation's about 6%, but you could just look at your market cap. So everything for me is going to be based on market cap at the moment that it gets there. Currently, right now, that is $11.36. But give it one more month, you'll see 1 billion XRP get unlocked. You'll see Ripple send back X amount of XRP, and then the circulating supply will be increased by whatever the amount is that doesn't get relocked. And then that's going to impact what it is. So we don't know that number right now. But, when we do, we do. And so it's all about market cap. At current numbers right now, it'd be $11.36. But you have to take into account 1 billion get unlocked every single month. And then some of that does go back. So it's not the full billion typically. Some does go back. You can count. If you want to take into calculation, say, hey, the full 1 billion is never going back in. It's all coming out, and run all my calculations based on that. Or that it's not. And we don't know what the timing of when price can rise, right? If price goes there next month, it's not going to change anything, right? But if it takes 9 months or a year, that is going to impact, right? Because the inflation of 6% or whatnot will have set into effect for a whole year. But yeah, I definitely went into full detail on that one. But thank you so much, Finger Money. Not Oscar Hernandez again. Thank you, man. Good morning, amigo. Will the course include your strategy for buying? Yeah. I know you make 3 to 4 purchases. Yeah, I think it's in there. Let me look. That hasn't been recorded yet. No, not really, but here, I'll write it in there. There we go. All right. I'll put it in there. I know you make 3 to 4 purchases. If XRP pulls back, will you buy 3 to 4 times around the price range or 3 to 4 times on the way down? Thanks. So yeah, for XRP, I'm definitely smart enough. I always say this. I'm definitely smart enough to realize that I'm stupid enough to not be able to perfectly nail the bottom or the top, right? I can get lucky sometimes and pinpoint nail the top. I knew I was not going to be good enough to nail the legitimate top of Bitcoin, which is why I finished my exit plan at $58,000. Got it out of a range, 45 to 58. Ethereum, it was the same kind of stuff. It was there in the 3,000s and then finalized literally on the day of the actual top. But recognizing I wasn't going to be able to like sit back patiently, control my emotions entirely, not get tricked, right? Where the market says down and then nope, we're reversing, not get tricked ever. There's going to be stuff that's even going to trick me. But to say, I just keep taking stabs and stabs and stabs and stabs and stabs. You are not going to be the one who goes full blown ham and buys it on there. The only people who do that are the brand new accounts on Twitter who come in to tell you how great they are and to tell you that they made the perfect buy with no evidence of it. And they tell you they made the perfect sell at the absolute top with no evidence of it. But you are led to believe they are the next new shiny guru. But you will never do it. I will never do it where I make a 100% perfect buy at the bottom, but I can pick areas of interest, and that will be the area that I go to town on. And so for me, for XRP, that area of interest is going to be all here. Now, that's a big range, 30 cents to 40 cents. If I start buying here at 40 cents, those buys will lose 22% at some point if this is correct. If it's not correct and it goes even lower, it'll be even more. But that's how big just that small, tiny range is right here. And we're talking expecting price to fall 37% from current prices right now and to have been a 47% fall from just right here a couple of weeks ago, 58 cents. We're expecting a 47% fall. So people's portfolios are going to be cut in half. What will happen when you get down there is that people are going to be screaming, Blockchain Becker, I held all the way down. You better be right now. You better be right. It is your decision to hold it all the way down. And I hope it is right. But I expect that we will likely see something along these lines. Everybody and their mom sees that trend line. We need to head down to it. We need to have everybody buy it. Then we need to have some really negative news come in and break that trend line. And if that happens, it's go time. Again, irresponsible buying will happen by me again. So we're just waiting on it. So in a couple months from now, if you start seeing people posting on Twitter, hey, look, we're holding the trend line, it's the perfect time to buy, watch what happens. Watch what happens. All right. Give me back my fractal. There we go. But yeah, it'll of course be the same thing. Multiple buys. And what I'm hoping for is that there are some coins that are taken off at that point, whether there's retracing, like you get chain link pumping, I'll sell all my chain link. I don't care. Any of these things, if they can just start pumping up a little bit, Ethereum, I'll rotate some Ethereum back into XRP and give me anything that can pump a little bit into this kind of moment. And I will happily continue rotating more back into XRP. XRP is still my number one holding in the cryptocurrency market, largest bag, but I will make it much larger. But thank you, Oscar. Blockfella, thank you very much, man. BCB, the GOAT. Blockfather, Bitcoin 21 EMA on the daily and weekly appears to be respected. On the weekly, seems like the end point of the C wave down and is in confluence with your bottom idea of around 25. Yeah, I'm not going to pull it up right now, but there was multiple things pointing to it too, just because I don't want to play with the indicators right now. But I think I even had some confluence in here too. Maybe, I don't know, maybe not. I can't remember what I saw. I had something else coming up here to hit right in these levels too, in these 25s. But like I said, I think that the best guess I can make, and it's one of the least confident guesses that I have. Like I've said, my broader, bigger time frame, looking at monthly time frames, still sticking to what I've said for almost a year at this point. And that we are moving upwards. We're seeing that happening in here for the stochastic. This is what happens when bottoms are forming. You can see that in 2014 and 2015. You can see that in 2018 and 2019. This is coming off of the lows. This is Doomtown of Bitcoin, the depression coming off the lows. Doomtown depression coming off the lows. Doomtown depression coming off the lows. This only has happened when we're off the lows, right? And we're on a monthly time frame right here. So that's the bigger time frame. Smaller time frame, we're all trying to make these guesses of what's this price action going to look like. We're on top of the 200, the 100, and the 50-day moving averages. We're on the north side of all of them. But how will the price action play out in here? Which can play out very differently when you have moments like these. And you have moments like these. And when you have just all this kind of stuff in here at these bottoms, when we're coming off of here, these things can all be very, very different and very sloppy. And so I've taken my best guess to think we're actually something more like this one right here. That's where we're at, and that the ending result is to actually come back down in here, kind of back test this breakout level that has happened in here. And this was a support and resistance zone for almost a whole year. It has not been back tested in here, and I wouldn't be surprised if we even wick through it a little bit. But it does seem to me that this area would need to be back tested to confirm that it is some type of a support. That it has not been tested in here. So usually you're going to. So what would be a common behavior to do something like that? And it would be like this. And it would be like the moment that we actually just had right in here was kind of that final short squeeze. Right in there. And then now we're just kind of waddling our way back in here. And this would be like moving back down to $27,000, $28,000. Right in here, into the 27s likely. Maybe even, probably 27. So that's going to be my guess. And then a retracement. And then off and down we go. And then we kind of spend our typical, what you hear, sell in May, go away. Summers are boring. People are off doing things with their family. They're spending money going on trips, and they're not paying attention to markets very closely. They're kind of off enjoying their life with their family. And it just is kind of always like that with crypto. The only exception I can recall in my 6 years was the summer of 2019, which, to be fair, was just like the moment we were in right now, where we were pulling off of these lows, and it actually did go kind of deep into June. But then so rather than sell in May, go away, we actually got into June. And then after June, we spent the whole 9 months after that in just utter garbage after that. So this one was delayed until June, but it was exciting until that moment. Eventually the summer of boredom comes. It always tends to. But okay, we'll add it. Oh, what am I doing? Daily? No. You said the Bitcoin 21 EMA on the daily and weekly appears to be respected. I would say respected from and you know what? I don't see enough price reaction to this to think it actually has too much price reaction to it. I would want to see more behavior, but we can go to the weekly. Let's see if it has more weekly behavior. I don't really like the weekly either. You kind of get it here, and you get it right here. And so where's this? About 24. So there you go. Yeah. So there's one thing to keep an eye on, right? Again, goes into the bucket of moving averages and which ones people prefer. And moving averages are always about time frames. Two different kinds of time frames. What time frame you're using on the top for your candlesticks, and then what time frame you're using for the actual moving average reading, which is taking the past. So this one is going to be, since it's a 21 EMA, we're taking the last 21 candles to provide us with an average in here. The thing too to be careful about there's a lot of gurus out there who will come up with random numbers on random time frames. I remember in 2017 there was guys who were like making YouTube channels based off of, what do? We watch the 343 minute time frame and we use the 216 minute EMA, and then we watch the white energy go over the purple energy and we go to moon. And these videos would get a lot of views just because people don't really understand technical analysis. And when you come across and you sound like you're smart and you've come up with these arbitrary numbers, which, by the way, 21 is not. 21 is very common. So I'm not giving Blackfellow a hard time at all. This is a very common number to use for an exponential moving average, 21. 9, 21, 50, 100, 200. But just to be mindful of like anybody who has come up with the secret formula by saying, I have figured out that it's not actually the 21 EMA that matters. It is actually the 142. That is the golden number. It is the one that matters the most. As you can see, we hold the 142 here. And then you can see right in here, it held on top of the 142, and then finally it broke down. We broke above 142, tried to find some support on it, dipped a little bit lower, tried to find it again, dipped a little bit lower, but we went back up. And see, you can see the resistance came in here. Oop, it went above, it broke, it tested it as support, it was a false breakout, and then boom, it broke back down. So this one, you got to be mindful because it can be a false breakout with a false back test. So if you can't tell what I just did, I just came up with a bunch of BS. And I picked a random number, made it a moving average, and tried to sound smart with it to make it sound like 142 even matters. But 142 is just a completely made up BS number. So just be mindful with that about EMAs, MAs, timeframes, all that kind of stuff. The bots are typically responding to the bigger ones, the 50, 100, 200, which is why those are really the only ones I ever use when I rarely do use them. And I think that was a pretty good example in there for Bitcoin, as we saw back in the last two major times we touched it. And then as we saw, so how well it rejected here, how during the banking crisis scare right there, and then how with the total altcoin market cap, CZ Binance comes in and goes after FTX the day after that, after we hit these ones. So, yeah. Moving averages. They are interesting, though. They are interesting. While I can be kind of silly about them, I do think that you will find some value in them sometimes. Like these are obvious, right? You can't really argue that's too much of a coincidence to say that bots and algorithms are not running off of that, or CZ Binance isn't running off of that, right? But thank you, Blackfella. Oscar Hernandez scratched the beard, started the cool down. Wait, what? Okay. Hey, I'm an hour in here. I freaking lied. I said 30 minutes. I'm wrapping it up. Here we go. Thank you, Oscar. Daniel Crone, have you changed your mind on Casper now that the inflation is controlled? The market cap is 500 million. Also, it would take over 10 years for the supply. Everybody thinks I'm like fudding Casper. I'm not. I said the chart looks good. I'm just telling you that anybody who has a price target has to pay attention to the market cap. And the market cap is one of the strongest assets there are out there in crypto. It's back at the 2021 highs. How many cryptos do you know that are doing that? Not many. The problem is, how high can the percentage rise, and what are you going to use to be able to measure that due to such an inflationary spike that happened for the last 2 years? That's the only point that I'm making. I'm not talking bad about Casper. It's just giving you the math, man. You're going to have to pay. You're not going to be able to use the Casper price chart for much because, as you can see, the market cap has hit an all-time high and the Casper price chart has not even crossed the 0.236 extension or even retracement. It's like halfway to it. And so there's going to be challenges of monitoring that chart. And so we're just looking at charts here. All I'm pointing to is the charts and saying, look, there's going to be challenges here for this one. There was so much inflation, so many tokens that were added for the last year and a half, 2 years. The price targets on that are going to be very difficult because the market cap is super strong, all-time highs. Like there's no one else doing that. You could argue Casper's the strongest of everything. But the price chart is super low because there was so much inflation. And that's unfortunate. It's kind of like Filecoin. I think Filecoin's market cap is awesome. Dude, I think it's awesome. I want to own a bunch of Filecoin. I want to be a Filecoin maxi. Because I'm totally all about decentralized storage. And that this was Wyckoff accumulation. This is literally, this whole thing is Bitcoin of 2014 and 2015. Then, this is how high Bitcoin goes after that. Not a joke. Like you have like 100x here on the market cap. Problem is, the inflation is absolutely insane. 130% per year. So while Filecoin, its market cap, right, we just kind of take a look at it, it's right over here, right? The market cap sits right over here at the January of 2022 lows right here. That's way up here. It sits down 65%. If you look at where it is from its all-time high, it sits down 97.59% from the all-time high. So remember, the price is 97% down from the all-time high, where this is only 84. But like to get to 97, right? How do you get to 97%? Right? Like 82%. So the token has lost 82% of its value versus the market cap. So like the token dilution, if you've been buying Filecoins, for every one you've bought, 4 more got added to someone else. So there's been so much token dilution of the market cap that the token holder's gotten wrecked by it. And however, the problem is the market cap looks freaking awesome. Like if they fixed it and it went down to like 10% inflation, like Casper has, I'd be YOLOing Filecoin because I believe in decentralized file storage and I love the chart. I would be YOLOing, but I can't because I can't get them to answer the questions for me when it comes to that. I don't know if they're dodging me. I don't think they're dodging me because it's not like I'm like tweeting it at them live and being like, hey. But they did a Twitter space. I tried to get up there and be a speaker to ask questions. There was only 30 people in the Twitter space. Just by math and it's not an ego thing. I'm fortunate enough to have over 200,000 followers. With the way Twitter Spaces organizes, it pushes the person with the most followers up to the top of the list. I'm right there at the top. I'm right there next to all the speakers. I got my hand up. I'm trying to speak. They would not call me up to the stage. So just ask my question. It was like, hey guys, I really love what you're doing here. The problem I have, like, I want to get in it, but the tokenomics are 130% per year. I can't find a vesting schedule on that. I can't find the tokenomics of when that's going to calm down and when that's going to go to a more manageable rate. That's all I want to ask. And I want to ask nicely, but I can't find that information anywhere. If anybody finds it, please provide it and tag me on Twitter to know what the inflationary rate of Filecoin is going to be moving forward. I would love to have that. All right. What's your thoughts on Coinbase chart? I actually covered this earlier. I'm targeting like 150. But thank you, Notorious. Mr. Nobody. Hi, BCB. EOS, Zcash, and Dash have smaller market caps than the top 10 coins. Do you think that increase in the odds they can hit higher fibs by market cap? Thank you. Well, Dash just got labeled as a security by the SEC. Don't know what the complications of that are going to be. EOS, like we've talked about for the last year, it has just been a ghost town for EOS. The Twitter went abandoned, and there's been like the start of a new like EOS Foundation group. Whether or not they pick up the slack and get any type of network use case to happen in with that, but it was just like November of 2021, market tops, EOS people gone, disappeared. Somehow EOS still resides. Let's see, what rank are you? Amazingly, still number 44 in the cryptocurrency market. There you are, 44. Unreal. How that's possible, I don't know, but it is. So it has not vanished. So if 99% of the cryptocurrency market evaporates, EOS is still there. Somehow, with a $1.2 billion market cap. So I don't know. We'll see, man. We'll see. I'm not holding my breath for it, though. But thank you. Lowe's 94. Hey, BCB, considering a Dow 91-year cycle top, you mentioned selling most or all of your crypto at retrace levels. Not all, 65%. After that, do you have any long-term DCA plays? Thanks, BCB. Well, I've got to sit back and watch the market, so I'm not going to sit here and try to guess how the narrative is going to play out if something like that does occur. Not DCAing won't be on my mind at that time. I'll be sitting back and watching to get more information revealed by the market. But right now, so like I own a lot of cryptos, but like which ones do I like feel confident in long term, or which ones like, and it's hard to say, right? It's everybody's personal opinion on what they feel confident in long term. It's probably just XRP and Ethereum, which could be wrong. But everything else is a struggle to see the long term if Bitcoin does collapse. I just don't have, the hardest thing and what I need to get proven wrong on, what would be great, right, is if this is the end of a Bitcoin cycle or the start of a Bitcoin cycle. But I just don't believe it to be. And looking at it on bigger time frames, you just don't have the indications of that being it either. You have, like even you look at the MACD in here, right? So you can see your cycles, even in your bull cycles, right? So what happens in every new all-time high, right? Essentially, you're not really going into zero land, right? Here, you're not really getting below the baseline. So you're having these crosses happening here above the baseline. And so it just keeps getting more and more bullish, right? Without ever going below the baseline. And as we can clearly see, this was the biggest fall off, taking out these, right? So did you take out these past lows here on this 2018 bear market compared to 2015? No. But here in this one, look, we've taken out 2018 and we've taken out 2015. So and while you can sit there and say, well, they're not very big, you do have somewhat of a bearish divergence emerging between these occurring as well. And in addition, like we've shown that many times, you will see this happening in here, that this is the end of wave 4. You have crash, retrace, reaccumulation, 4.236 extension. This is going to be your fall down to your first bounce. We bounce back up in here and then down and away we go. And we go take out these lows way down in here. This still seems to me that this is the most probable situation happening in here. That has to get proven wrong. So for me to even consider DCAing beyond, I grabbed all the lows. I grabbed all these lows. All that stuff will get sold out into a retrace. But yeah. And if you're just seeing this for the first time, you think I'm fudding with all this stuff. I'm sorry. I'm not going to go into too much deep explanation. I've spent years explaining this situation right in here. And that this is what Ethereum has done. This is what Netflix has done. This is a standard thing that happens after this. In that, you have divergences that are emerging in the market, and you have them happening on larger time frames to show what happens when you repeat all those cycles that everybody's talking about. But let's go look at Coinbase, right? Because is it really fair to use Bitstamp? No, not really, because Bitstamp's smaller. How about Coinbase, right? Well, Coinbase, same thing. See, we've gone below 2018's bear. Notice how we don't ever cross below the baseline. Off and away we go. We've now lost all of that momentum happening in here. So it's a very sexy story. It's a very simple story to say block rewards. It's just the narrative that's always worked. It's the thing you can always lean on. But I don't think that is a true narrative to lean on. You're going to go from 1.8% to 0.9%. If that's your true narrative, you should be the monster bull on Ethereum. If you're not a monster bull on Ethereum, then you don't really believe in the block reward halving. Because Ethereum has a negative 0.5% inflation rate, which actually means it has a 0.5% deflation rate. And if you think 1.8 to 0.9% is going to drastically impact, it's just not, I just don't think it will. We'll see. We'll see. I want it, man. Don't get me wrong. I want it. Like, if we start a new cycle, I am so positioned to crush it. I'm positioned to wreck shop, dude. At the lows, man, went irresponsibly long, nauseatingly long. I'm crushing it, and I'm positioned to absolutely annihilate the market. But I'm not in the belief that that's what's going to happen. So we just kind of have to play the cards carefully. And this is my view, and watch what's happening in here. We have good signs still on the bigger time frames. These are the good things to see, definitely. But we gotta watch out for the retrace. So DCAs, I'm not even thinking about DCAs right now. For me, it's all about exits first. I gotta get money out. Get money out, put it away, bury it in the middle of the woods or something, and then figure it out. But thank you, Lowe's. Stanky sandals. Moon indicator or fib time for when moon? Yeah. I don't know what either of those are. Except for whenever you sell your stuff, that's when full moon. Oh, nice. Pitbull, the time predictor says $80,000 Bitcoin on 6/20/2023 as a top. Wink. Kinds regards, bro. Oh, he must be a secret riddler who has a secret and knows magic with the wink. Yeah. Okay, sure. Thanks, Pitbull. Graph punks. So if Bitcoin was to rip off, where could it and its ROI? If it was to rip off, like if it was going to go to all time, bro, you're going to have to find a Bitcoin maxi who's going to sell you that narrative and tell you a target on it, bro. I don't think it's going to. I'm not picking a new all-time high target for Bitcoin. Mind you, I gave you this one. Back in here, I gave it to you. Called the dingus. I gave you that one. I cannot say we're going to new all-time high for Bitcoin. XXX says, with regards to your stream yesterday, what will be your investing plan if your theory does go through? Thanks and have a good day, right? So he's talking about the Dow Jones being stuck at a retracement, right? Do we still have you open? I don't have you open. Come on. All right, Dow kind of recovering a little bit, right? That, hey, it does turn over and it starts heading back down in here. You have to, for me, I'll have to kind of sit back and wait, but likely the thing is high yield treasuries and savings accounts, and then figuring out who is doing well. Hopefully, There's some crypto that is doing okay in that moment. We've never been through full-blown crash of stock market and like end of bull market type of thing before with crypto. Crypto, and like that's the thing people aren't paying attention to either. For who are wanting new all-time highs for Bitcoin. Bitcoin was literally created right there. That is likely the top of the stock market. Every breakout has been new all-time high. When I conducted a poll, I asked people, I said, hey, will the stock market set a new all-time high within the next 5 years? The majority of people said no. Will Bitcoin set a new all-time high within the next 5 years? Majority of participants said yes. That means there's a mix of people's understandings of how Bitcoin's behavior has reacted in regards to the stock market. So I don't think we're going to see Bitcoin. If the Dow can't get a new all-time high, Bitcoin should not be either. That is just data. So hate my opinion all you want. It is just data. But this would be about, for me, it's going to be one, probably treasury yields, probably high interest savings accounts. And then what my fingers are crossed for is that I have positioned myself in something that will do well during that moment, which we don't know. And why don't we know? Because in this moment right here, it was pegged, but that would be precious metals. Hopefully, it's the precious metals' turn to run. And so, if so, I will probably be adding more. I'm already silly exposed to precious metals. Very silly as my hedge right now. But if this were to occur, it would be about probably high interest treasury yields, savings accounts, and precious metals. And we don't know that precious metals will take off. We can make the assumption that it can, based on history, that when it was removed from its peg, when silver was no longer used as a currency back in 1965 in the United States. It's when we discontinued 90% silver production for dimes, quarters, and half dollars. They did still continue making half dollars from 1965 to 1970 out of 40% silver. And then, gold. Gold standard gone. But anyway, down in here, right, gold was pegged to $20.67 during this whole time. And then, there was the confiscation of gold, right? People were not allowed to keep more than 5 ounces. Anything more than 5 ounces that they had to sell back to the government, $20.67. And the government repriced gold to, I believe, $35 even, maybe $35.06, something like that. And then people were allowed to buy their gold back. So for some reason, the information we have is that for some reason, everybody wanted the gold here. The government wanted the gold, made it mandatory, made it illegal to not keep your gold, and then repriced it higher and then gave it all back. So would gold do well in this environment? I've written newsletters about this. I've had to refer back to the newsletter so much that I ended up creating a YouTube video to talk about the history of gold versus the stock market to show that there's an inverse relationship between gold and between the stock market. So one would hope that if money is flowing out of this guy, it is flowing somewhere. It is not just flowing into treasury yields and savings accounts and bank accounts, but it is flowing into a different asset class. Sure, we can all hope it's crypto. Maybe it will be, but history doesn't say that yet. We only have the information of crypto to show that it moves up with the stock market, but that the inverse relationship does happen between gold and the stock market. So your question is, if that does play out, what then? Hopefully metals do well. Eduardo, first super chat. Man, there's in the last 2 days been a lot of these. EOS and Bitcoin Cash, same things, guys. They're just lagging along, not doing anything on their own, playing around with the rest of the market. Says BCB, can you tell me what your thoughts on EOS or Bitcoin Cash are? They're just waddling around as they have been. Moving with the market, doing absolutely nothing independent. They have nothing special going on with them on their own. But that's your first timer. Thanks, man. There's just not much to say about those. Mr. Nobody. In 2021, Litecoin hit 1.309 fib. I don't know if it went that high. I don't think it did. I don't even know what a 1.309 is. What the? What the? What is a 1.309? Is that like right here? I bet that's the halfway point between these two. 618 divided by 2 is 309. You probably put it right there. I don't think it went that high, brother. All right. But fell short on candle price chart. Wait, what? Oh, the market cap. I should read, right? Okay. Looks like it did exceed halfway, though. I wouldn't call it like a technical hit or anything. Mr. Nobody. No, I mean, we just saw this happen with everything. I think this behavior is the same as what we've seen with all of them. It's the same, whether it went higher or not, it's the same thing that happened with XRP. It's the same thing that happened with Monero. Right, Monero, same story. New all-time high, but then just waddles back, pulls back in here, still going sideways, right? A lot of these didn't get out into these new all-time highs, but I think they're all the same story. And like even with XRP, if you look at market cap from 2000 and let's see if it's going to give me it on here. I don't like it. Do I have it up here? Let's go to CoinTrader Pro. I can't believe I'm still running this live stream. I specifically said I wouldn't do it. When you guys ask questions, I feel I want to answer them. Okay. That has happened here, right? So you see that. This is the December of 2013 peak, and then it goes, right? So you can have that happening in there, and it's still the same thing going on in the market at the time. So I've spent enough time contemplating on that for sure, with like Litecoin and Monero and Stellar Lumens hitting their all-time highs, because I'm pretty sure Stellar Lumens market cap hits it too. Look at that. It goes into just barely going into a new all-time high, but then this whole pullback thing, that it's all just of the exact same stuff. I don't think there's any information to draw from that in particular. That is different from the other ones. All right. XX, I'm back. Any updates on Atom 2? No, I can't go through all these charts at this time, guys, too. I'm already an hour and 30 minutes into this thing. I'm going to have to stop on the different altcoin charts. BCB, but thank you, man. No, Atom, not really. I don't have anything in particular to say about it. JazzD, BCB, could you chart Bitcoin Cash and Zcash? They're ready to break out, or you expect a pullback? I can't chart. I can't go through and chart those guys. We're an hour and a half into this thing. They're following along with the market. They're both at the lows. But thank you very much, Jazz. Irvin Lopez, hey BCB, can you show us a 2017 on ETH where it 10x and XRP went down at the same time? Very quickly. Why is it not showing up? Oh, it's doing. Why is it not showing up? All right, we'll do it here. Go to a smaller time frame. Why is it not? There it is. Or let's do this percentage maybe. Okay. So it's going to be kind of hard to see. Can I do this differently? No. This is how we're going to have to look at it. All right. So notice right here, this moment in time where Ethereum is, right? You can see how high it's gotten up here, right there. Notice that XRP is still sitting way down in here, right? Like you can see that in here of this location that I'm picking. So I'm going to put it just right after here, right? But you can see this, and you can see where XRP's price is at right down in here. Let me take that off of here. So you could see this, okay? So you could see that Ethereum has already fired off and it's already hit this peak, okay? Okay, excuse me, not 10x. It is 729%. So 729% right here, not 1,000%, 729% at this moment right in here. And that's based off of, now let's go back to the, how do I get a better view? Here, right? All right, that's my spot. Right there. Okay. Yep. All right. So you see that, right? That's the point where it's already peaked and it's already fired big time. Then Ethereum cools off, right? So Ethereum doesn't set a new high. I'll hide that for a second. It falls, it retraces, it falls. And during this time period, this is where XRP fires off 1,000%, right? But as you can see, this moment in time on the XRP price chart when this is occurring, look where this is, right? This is exactly what we're talking about. And it's this moment right here where Ethereum has already fired up 729%. So, all right, there you go. I hope that helps. Urban, thank you. George Alexandropoulos, is there a crashing structure going on in Bitcoin right now in the lower time frames, 4 hour to 1 hour? I haven't been able to notice anything. I haven't been able to notice anything substantial to say yes or no in there. I don't think so. What I did see was we saw a 702 retracement happen in there, and it rejected off of a 702. So that would likely tell you this is some form of A, B, C happening in here. But then, is this going to is that the actual bottom? I don't know if there's really signals saying that's the bottom. And then it needs to settle. Then there's also, if it's not, right, then you watch it and you see, does it come back up? And does it actually end up holding this as support level? If this does hold it as a support level, then you start thinking to yourself, maybe this was actually a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then, like we talked about, 702 Fibonacci retracement, back to 702. Then a bigger plunge comes where we go down and we settle at $24,000 to $25,000 throughout the summer. So I don't see anything too crystal clear to indicate crashing structure in here at all. I don't see it at all. So thanks, man. Ryan Rennan, good morning, my man. Have a great day. You too. Sorry, guys, I'm running on very little sleep. I don't mean to be grumpy. I'm just trying to get to the end so I can refresh myself. I did eat today, though. J. Cole 41 member, thank you so much. Pi, thank you. Hi, all. Hey guys, thank you J. Cole 41. Thank you Ryan. Thank you Pi again. Thank you, man. Hey, BCB, is there a chance we get a surprise rally to the upside without any retracement and just go up sideways during the halving before the actual bull run? I mean, they're literally, you can come up with any narrative, any type of price action. Is there a chance? Of course. What is the statistical probability of it? Who knows? Is it 0.00001%? Is it 4%? Is it 28%? Who knows? Then that's what we're all trying to make our best guesses on. What do we think is the most likely thing that's going to happen here? I don't know how you would come up with that and what the probability of it would be. But anything you can think of, anything is possible. This is an incredible world and life that we live. Anything is possible. What is the statistical probability of it? I would have no clue how to even guess on that particular thing. But there you go. This is a sincere answer. I don't know. Anything is possible, but is there a statistical probability of it? I haven't seen anything in the charts to suggest. And always things like this, guys. One thing, the big dangerous thought that I see in here real quick, and we should all keep this in mind because it never happens, okay? A surprise rally to the upside without any retracement, and then we just go sideways. It's kind of what everybody dreams of, is that there's going to be this big magic bull run, and then you just go sideways. And you will find there is never that. There's big magic bull run, it's followed by that. But I've always gotten asked that question. Do we have big thing, then go sideways? Never. We go down. But everybody kind of fantasizes that this could be it, and we'll come up with a lot of narratives on it. And I haven't seen that. Will we go side? Will we have a big fat bull run and then go sideways? It just doesn't happen. We always come back down. Always. Thank you, Pi. And Joel, thank you. I listen every day. I've been listening every day since Spark Token Snapshot. Man, I love the free form of Markets in the Morning. You're inspiring so many of your followers. Thank you. Man, thank you. It's weird because prior to Markets in the Morning, I had not done many live streams. I think in my entire YouTube career, maybe 30 or 40. I've more than doubled all of the live streams I've ever done in the last 2 months or 3 months. So, been a lot. Thank you, Joel. Kig, super. Oh man, thank you. Remember, keep up the great content. Thank you, Kig. Thank you for your support, guys. Made it to the end. I've gotten all caught up. Klingo, hi. See you in the chat. Oscar, 24/7 live stream going on now on BCV's channel. No, sir. No, sir. I've thought about doing it. Alex Cobb did one recently. I'm going to give him a hard time because I was in his chat for several hours during his apparent 24-hour live stream, which he cut short at 12 hours. He made it 12 hours and canceled. That I should do one day. But the difference is Cobb is still kind of like a kid, right? Like he's in like his younger 20s. That's when it's like real easy to do that stuff. I don't know if I could do that. You guys could see how grumpy I get after I haven't eaten for a couple hours and I'm a couple hours into a live stream. I don't know what would happen at 19 hours into a live stream. Hangry, man. Yeah, for sure. So, I don't know. I think I might do it. One day. Yeah. Take us with you to eat, grill some meat. That's how I think of the live stream would have to be. So I'd have to figure out what the technical setup of that would be to be able to like keep you on my phone. So I don't have to do like what Cobb did, where Cobb sat in front of the computer the whole time. I don't think that's like feasible. Like if you're playing video games or something, you're playing like World of Warcraft, you're playing Call of Duty, you're doing something to engage your mind. What we're talking about doing is let's watch paint dry for 24 hours. Hey, like look at the last 24-hour period. Like This was the most exciting moment, and it lasted 15 minutes, and then it was just utter horrible. So we'd have to figure out how to make it fun, where I would I could still keep the chart on the screen, but like I could go fishing, or I could go in the backyard and grill, or something like that, and make it somewhat fun. Or maybe like we make an NFT live, right? We go through the process, we paint something or something, and then we put it onto the XRP ledger, and like we go through like the process of doing that or something during as part of it. So yeah, we'll see. BCB grilling NFT. Yeah, well, that was in the moon show. There was a grill that was floating around the moon. Garlic Brad. At least a 12-hour stream. Yeah. Yeah, 2x and 1.5x frog is the best. XRP Monkey. I agree. I don't, it's hard for me to listen to it at standard speed now that I've been spoiled with that. So thanks to not Oscar Hernandez for pretty much ruining my favorite song on the internet. Now I'm forced to have to listen to it fast, because now it sounds like screwed up and chopped when I listen to it at normal speed. But all right, guys, that's it. All right, we've got a little bit of green over here in the market today. Nothing to run home and cry home to mom about. There's not a lot happening in the market today. You know, yesterday was kind of that bigger move. Markets have stabilized today. There's been no real movements happening. Last week in the altcoin market was a breakout of the 50-week moving average. We're just having a little bit of a back test happening in here. Seems possible so far. Ethereum, still multiple days left for closing in the week. We're waiting to see if we can get another push out of there after a back test happening here on Ethereum, and that we aren't drifting lower. And then do we go into, which we'll put in the course. You remember Creek, right? That's what we're waiting to find out right now. Is this just a quick little back test happening in here that can shift its way back up for a continued breakout? We don't know the answer yet, but we're going to hopefully get that by the weekly candle close to see, was this just a weekly candle back test and then a continuation next week? That's what the hope is. Economic calendar, not a whole lot going on out there today outside of unemployment data, which it does show it's starting to slightly tick to the upside. As for news, nothing too crazy happening out there today. We'll see if we can get any action as we head into Friday tomorrow, as we have fallen here on Bitcoin, going back into B wave with a 702 Fibonacci retracement happening in there, and then a continuation on another leg down to the downside. So hopefully by tomorrow we can find some support and stabilize and start getting some more information. Otherwise, this dude's probably going to take a nap today. I'm probably going to eat some good food too, get some good rest. I had a rough night of sleep. Get nice and recharged for tomorrow. We'll come back and we'll crush it into a Friday. Otherwise, failed again at a 30-minute live stream here at an hour and 42. I'm wrapping this thing up. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for watching. If you could, please like this live stream and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.